blast, wide open woke sessions. Mind, body, soul, no second guessing. Spilling truths, no sugarcoat dressing. Wisdom hunting, cash and knowledge blessing. Hands to the streets, wide open the road. Eyes on the prize, ain't no time for jokes, lies and eyes. These days we roll, truth on the mic, destiny and vote. Hands to the streets, wide open.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? In YouTube land, this is Audi Rob with Wide Open Woke Podcast, coming to you with some more good information, some more videos that you have not seen before, because this is the information that we got a hold of, and thanks to Roger Martin. Shout out for Why the Big Secret. Thank you, my brother. Doing a good job, and thank you for bringing me on board with you. And sending a whole lot of appreciation your way, and happy birthday again and again and again and again, and happy birthday, bro. But anyway, yeah. So I got a video for you. It's called 27 Alien Encounters. Some encounters that you may not know about. It's a pretty in-depth video that they took out of the mainstream. So you won't see this one out there. Nope. You won't see this one. And I got a whole lot more stuff that you will not see out there. But y'all, please like and subscribe. Without further ado, we're going to start this out here. And this is...
We think of space as the final frontier, the last place for mankind to explore. But what if space isn't the final frontier? What if there are dimensions beyond physical space we haven't begun to acknowledge yet? And what if there are people who have already...
Oh yeah, disclaimer, just in case you guys, if you happen to see me doze off or something like that, and you see me come back in, yeah, I worked a lot of hours today, so I'm doing these videos late at night, and getting them out here late at night, but I got to get this information out here sometime or another, so just please forgive me if you happen to see me doze and come back in, so here we go. Peace, love, light.
Begun to explore this new realm of existence. It may sound bizarre, but there is evidence that physical space is not the end of our outreach into the heavens, but simply the beginning. Could aliens be visiting us from other realms? Could they use corridors through other dimensions to reach our tiny blue world? And can we expand our consciousness enough to understand these strange new realms? Are we on the cusp of a truly new way of contemplating the cosmos? And are there beings from these dimensions trying to make contact with us?
Alien Encounters.
Scientists now agree that there does exist other planes and dimensions beyond the physical universe, though they admit they know virtually nothing about them. Yet daily, there are UFO sightings that appear so bizarre, so strange, that it is difficult for us to wrap our minds around them. Are aliens using some advanced technology to delve into these layered realms? Or do they do it by accessing some hidden conscious ability within themselves? Strange UFO sightings have occurred frequently in modern times, but if we can believe the scratching of ancient man on cave walls, they are nothing new.
Yeah, wait a minute. You had these people doing this off centuries, and they led us to believe, oh, it was just a myth. They just drawings on the wall. They don't pay no attention to them. Just look at them, take pictures, and just keep right on going. Yeah, right. They was telling what they drew what they saw.
Throughout the Southwest, bizarre depictions of strange beings and even their craft have been etched on rock for centuries. These petroglyphs appear to show aliens, some tall and larger than life, meeting early man in unusual circumstances. Further south, we find the Nazca Lines, bizarre inscriptions that can only be viewed from high altitude. Indeed, throughout the world, there exists a multitude of unusual markings that appear to show extraterrestrial beings making contact with man. Who are these beings, and why are they interested in our Earth? How did they travel the vast distances between planets and even galaxies? If you're one of those people who thinks aliens are only ever seen by lonely farmhands and drunken hillbillies, prepare to be unnerved. The 1966 Westall Australian encounter was witnessed by over 200 people and provoked a response from both the police and Australian Air Force. On April 6th, pupils and teachers at 2 schools in a Melbourne suburb watched as a low-flying silver-gray shiny object drifted over an empty field before landing behind some trees. Witnesses described it as looking like a cup turned upside down on a saucer. While both schools are near an airport, staff are well versed enough in aircraft to know it was unlike anything they had ever seen before. When some pupils went to investigate, the craft abruptly took off again, speeding away into the sky. The only traces left were some unusual scorch marks in the forest. What's so truly disturbing about the Westall encounter is the sheer number of witnesses, along with how spread out they were. For such a diverse group to have simultaneously had a mass hallucination is almost as incredible as an explanation of a flying saucer. And that's before we get into the involvement of the Australian government. So, did aliens come to visit Melbourne some 50 years ago? We'll leave it to you to decide.
The evidence is there.
Saucers zipping about is not too unusual, but what makes them fly is a total mystery. Some have speculated they use a type of nuclear propulsion. If so, then this case from 1886 is very intriguing. In October 1886, a family in the Venezuelan town of Maracaibo suffered a strange and hideous fate. During an intense lightning storm, their small hut suddenly became bathed in a dazzling white light. The air outside was reportedly humming, and the inside of the hut filled with a smoky smell. Almost immediately, all 9 family members were overcome by a fit of vomiting as large lesions erupted on their skin. But the worst was yet to come. After 9 days had passed and the encounter already begun to grow dim in their minds, the family suddenly began to lose their hair. Whole sections of their skin sloughed off, and all 9 became covered in hideous sores. At the same time, the trees around their hut withered and died. The family were taken to a hospital where no more is known of their fate. However, we can hazard a guess. They almost certainly died. The symptoms above are more or less identical to those caused by a massive blast of radiation, described almost 50 years before anyone knew what radiation poisoning was. What caused the death of that Venezuelan family remains unknown. But some flying saucer enthusiasts have claimed that radiation from a spacecraft is the only plausible answer. Whatever the truth, there's no denying that this story is the very definition of an unexplained phenomenon.
Yes, it is. I ain't seen nothing yet.
Another of the most bizarre supposed UFO sightings
These
in
are all
modern history
true.
took place at Falcon Lake
Nothing
in
fake.
Manitoba, Canada.
This is not no
And
AI.
involved a man named
As far as
Stephen
making the
Malcolm.
video yet, but
Malcolm
it's all
was a
true
prospector
event.
who claims to have encountered not one, but 2 UFOs, and after investigating the objects, he was blasted with some sort of hot gas from an exhaust vent that left him with bizarre markings on his midsection and led to his being hospitalized. This remains one of the most bizarre cases of a UFO sighting on record, simply because it's one of the few in which the person who claims to have made contact with alien life suffered a very real, very strange injury.
Yeah, he did.
He suffered from nausea, headaches, and the odd burn markings in a very distinct grid shape across his abdomen. There is no reasonable explanation for this, unless he too came into contact with the strange propulsion systems of one of their craft. A UFO sighting on the evening of December 29, 1980 changed the lives of 3 Texans forever, and not for the good. While driving through the southern tip of the East Texas piney woods north of Houston, Betty Cash, Vicki Landrum, and Vicki's 7-year-old grandson Colby came upon a huge diamond-shaped object just above the trees and 130 feet away. Cash hit the brakes, and she and the elder Landrum stepped outside. Immediately, they noticed intense heat. Their faces felt as if they were burning. When Vicki re-entered the car and touched the dashboard to steady herself, she left a handprint. Blasting fire and heat, the UFO slowly ascended. Suddenly, numerous helicopters, 23 in all, appeared from all directions, positioning themselves near the strange craft. But this time, the witnesses were back in the car and watching the spectacle from their moving vehicle. Other motorists saw the object and the helicopters from different, more distant locations. Eventually, the flying objects were lost to view. Unfortunately, the episode was only beginning. Back home, the 3 fell sick, Cash most severely. She suffered blisters, nausea, headaches, diarrhea, loss of hair, and reddening of the eyes. On January 3rd, unable to walk and nearly unconscious, she was admitted to a Houston hospital. Vicki and Colby were experiencing the same symptoms, though less severely. The witnesses' health problems continued throughout their lives. In September 1991, Cash's personal physician, Dr. Brian McClelland, told the Houston Post that her condition was a textbook case of radiation poisoning, comparable to being 3 to 5 miles from the epicenter of Hiroshima. For years, the 3 have pursued their case through the courts, seeking answers and redress. But official agencies deny any knowledge of the incident, even though the helicopters have been identified as twin-rotor Boeing CH-47 Chinooks, used by both the Army and the Marines. Betty Cash died at the age of 71 on December 29, 1998, exactly 18 years after her claimed close encounter. Vicki Landrum died September 12th of 2007, 7 days before her 84th birthday. Are these bizarre alien accidents where humans were adversely subjected to their technology and suffered horrendous fates?
Wow.
Or could the extraterrestrials be uncaring and unsympathetic towards their encounters with hapless Earthlings? One thing is for sure. If you do happen upon a hovering UFO, stay away as far as you can.
Yeah, if you don't want to get burnt and get no radiation, I would see that. So I'd like to get an alien interview one day, though. The Pleiadians or somebody. I would love that. Bet you that go viral. Wow.
Strange and bizarre UFO cases where humans have been subjected to horrid radiation. Interdimensional alien spacemen from distant worlds or planes of existence too complex to fathom. We do indeed live in a weird, unexplainable world with mysteries around every corner. It's incredible that most do not believe any strange phenomenon until they witness it themselves.
Those are the statements.
Consider these cases that changed the minds of many when they came to public knowledge. In July of 1991, people living in Mexico City reportedly spotted something strange in the sky at a time when they were expecting to see nothing more or less than a solar eclipse. However, they were met with something far more out of the ordinary, with numerous people saying they saw an unidentified flying object, with actual journalists reportedly having captured this bizarre flying object on video when trying to film the eclipse. Since this time, there have been numerous reports of UFOs in the area, but none more particular than the UFO spotted that summer by multiple people looking from various positions in the huge city. A few months later, a similar UFO was spotted during an air show in the area, but no explanation has ever been offered. One of the most famous UFO sightings in modern United States history took place in the town of Sirocco, New Mexico back in 1964, with the chief witness being none other than a police officer named Lonnie Zamora. Zamora was in pursuit of a speeding car when he saw an object in the sky shaped like an oval and bearing a bizarre red insignia on its side. He claims to have seen this object rise from the ground and take off into the distance, and his story drew tremendous media and government attention, including leading to the CIA filing a report on the incident. Zamora came to be known as something of a kook and retired from the police force shortly after the incident.
Yeah, you better know kook.
You know you've made it in the world of mysterious alien encounters when people refer to your UFO sighting as a bona fide incident. Such is the case of the 1965 Kecksburg, Pennsylvania encounter, in which multiple people claim to have witnessed something crashing into the woods near the town not far from Pittsburgh. People who saw it claimed the object that fell from the sky was roughly the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, and say that almost immediately after it crashed to Earth, the United States Army arrived and roped off the area. The official report is that it was a meteor crashing down into the woods.
Yeah, right. That's
though obviously most of the folks who were present to see the object for themselves remained skeptical of this explanation. To this day, the case remains a mystery, good evidence of a real UFO sighting. At midnight on September 19th of 1976, the Iranian Air Force began receiving calls about a mysterious light shining above the streets of Tehran. Fearing an enemy aircraft, generals separately dispatched 2 pilots to investigate. What happened next would go down in UFO history. As the first pilot approached the object, his aircraft systems completely failed. Aborting his mission, he turned back towards the city, only to have his plane return to full operational capacity. The second pilot suffered an even creepier fate. After picking the object up on radar, he prepared to shoot it down, only for the object to attack him instead. Allegedly, a bright light launched itself at his craft, missing only when he executed an evasive maneuver. What followed was a chase across Tehran's skies as the object knocked out communication systems, shorted out power supplies, and generally caused mayhem on the ground before it finally disappeared. Although no conclusive proof exists, today nearly all those involved apparently believe they encountered a genuine UFO. However, we'll never know if the Iranian government itself agreed. All records were destroyed or lost following the Islamic Revolution a mere 3 years later. The same year that Iran was chasing mysterious lights across the sky, the Canary Islands were having their own strange encounter. At 9:27 p.m. on June 22nd, Navy personnel reportedly noticed a strange light traveling along the horizon that later split into two distinct objects. However, even this weird little tell has nothing compared to the reports on the ground. The residents of one street in La Rosa, Gran Canaria, reported seeing a gigantic translucent blue sphere hovering just above the ground. Roughly 30 meters in diameter, the sphere supposedly contained two humanoid creatures, vague shadows that could be seen against the stars. According to one witness, things then got even crazier, with the sphere expanding to enormous dimensions before vanishing off into the night sky. In the intervening years, several explanations have been put forward, ranging from meteor effects to a missile test. Yet to this day, people continue to swear they saw this strange orb and the even stranger creatures inside it.
Creatures inside the orb.
A shape-shifting, vanishing ball of fire streaking over a major population center sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. But the Kolkata fireball was very real, terrifying the city's 4.5 million residents in 2007. At around 3:30 a.m., the few souls unlucky enough to be awake saw a gigantic object streaking through the Indian sky. A national news report claimed that hundreds saw it pass, with one man even capturing it on his camcorder. According to Indian reports, scientists were completely baffled by the object, which seemed to radiate a halo of colors as it passed overhead. Although most observers assumed it was a meteorite, the object's ability to change shape throws a particularly irksome spanner into that theory, leaving the possibility of an alien visit wide open. UFO reports are often dismissed until high-quality photos or video is produced. One such encounter took place in the 1950s, well before digital effects and photoshopping images. In Oregon, in May of 1950, a farmer named Mr. Trent saw a UFO at his farm outside McMinnville. According to Mr. Trent, his wife Evelyn first spotted the object, a silvery metallic disc. She was outside feeding her rabbits when it appeared in the early evening sky. She called out to her husband, who came outside and watched for a couple of minutes. He then went in and got a camera and took two high-resolution pictures before the object sped off to the west.
That's why he did.
The most striking thing lending credence to the story is the Trent's behavior. They never made any money off the photographs and actually had to be convinced to let them be published by a local reporter. Apparently, they were afraid of getting into trouble with the government. There are disagreements as to the veracity of the photos. The Condon Report, a 1967 study into UFO phenomenon conducted by the University of Colorado, concluded that relative photographic densities of objects in the photos suggest that the object was distant, meaning they were somewhat likely to be genuine. A much more recent examination concluded that the object's geometry was consistent with a small model hanging from a wire, but that wire has never been spotted in either high-resolution photo. And Evelyn and Paul Trent earnestly insisted until their deaths in 1997 and 1998, respectively, that the photos were of an actual UFO.
Let's see. Find out
Why
later
would
on.
aliens travel the vast distances across space just to allow us to take their picture? Are they here for some nefarious agenda we cannot comprehend? Or are they simply passing by with no regard to us as we go about our daily affairs? Who are the aliens and why are they here?
Mm-hmm.
Unusual UFO encounters happen almost daily. Some may be explainable,
Might be a
while
part one
others
and a part
remain a
two to this.
mystery for decades. Recently, there was a
I
sighting
can
that
upload it on
happened
TikTok
across the
or something like
western
30
United
minutes.
States during 2015. Government officials were quick to call November 8th's alleged UFO sighting as nothing more than a missile test, but not everyone is buying it. Those who witnessed the bizarre event have come up with some conspiracy theories of their own, blaming the incident on everything from meteor showers to alien contact. California, Nevada, Arizona residents were left stunned after a strange blue light was seen streaking across the sky. Was it a UFO? A meteor? Well, according to government officials, it was nothing more than a routine submarine missile test. But that hasn't stopped some from coming up with their own rationalizations about the incident. Many were also suspicious over the fact that the government didn't announce the missile test ahead of time, and it was conducted over a densely populated city rather than a deserted desert as is typically the case. Suffice it to say, it stirred the beliefs of many as they watched this odd blue UFO-type light streak skyward. UFO sightings often entice our interest in worlds beyond our own. We marvel at science fiction TV shows and movies that depict life in some faraway galaxy or a journey on a starship headed to where we have never gone. It's part of our unconscious mind to wonder what is beyond our grasp. One does not have to look toward space to find bizarre mysteries to ponder.
They're right here on our planet.
One may only need to look toward the many wheat fields that dot the landscape around the world.
Crop
Crop
circles.
circles have been appearing in grain fields.
Those
all
are the
over
ones
the
that
earth
actually
during
been
the
doing
last
these
few
orbs. These
decades.
orbs are the ones that
They
make
appear
those crop
suddenly,
circles.
usually at night. At first, they were simple circles.
Yeah, they come to find out that those orbs that were flying around here, turning into all different types of shapes. I'll put that video back up and update on that one just to let you know people who didn't know what these orbs were actually, what they are plasma, but it's a high intelligence and they're spiritual. Yeah, there's a whole lot more than just they didn't tell you about those, or they're not going to tell you about them. They just said these drones. They barely could talk about the drones that the Dark Shadow was putting out there, that the Dark Shadow government was putting out there. So they definitely couldn't speak on the Pleiadian orbs. They couldn't even speak on the drones. So let's continue on. But yeah, I had that out too with you guys. We continue.
Bent over grain stalks. Soon, a new crop of more elaborate designs evolved. Geometric forms reminiscent of profound mathematical theorems. Some Siriologists, the people who study crop circles, say that these diagrams must be created by intelligent alien beings from elsewhere. Even though these diagrams must be constructed in a very short time span, the genuine crop circles never show any serious mistakes or blunders of execution. Seriologists see this as evidence that the aliens must be intelligent and much more advanced than we are. There's good evidence that aliens have been defacing the Earth's surface with the geological graffiti for a very long time. The curious lines and drawings on the Nazca Plain in Peru likely have the same cause. The number of crop circles has substantially increased from the 1970s to current times. There has been little scientific study of them. Circles in the United Kingdom are not spread randomly across the landscape, but appear near roads, areas of medium to dense population, and cultural heritage monuments such as Stonehenge or Asbury. In 1678, news pamphlets of the Mowing Devil, or strange news out of Hertfordshire, is claimed by some seriologists to be the first depiction of a crop circle.
Yeah.
Since 2001, crop formations have increased in size and complexity of form, some featuring as many as 2,000 different shapes, and some incorporating complex mathematical and scientific characteristics.
They do.
Though some circles are created by hoaxers, there remains a good number of them that are completely unexplained due to their location and speed at which they were created, as well as unusual magnetic and formation patterns within the circles themselves.
I always was curious about
massive crop circles have been photographed soon after they appeared in fields throughout the UK. Some display such intricate designs that prove they would have had to have been made over a long period of time by a large number of people. Yet they appeared quickly, with no sign of human presence.
Right.
A number of eyewitnesses claim to have seen crop circles created within a matter of seconds. The formations were so complex that it would have taken an army of people many hours just to attempt to create it by hand.
Look at that.
Because nobody on Earth has been able to duplicate a true crop circle, certainly not at the cellular level. The assumption is made that it must be extraterrestrial in origin. People who stand inside a crop circle often experience a dramatic rush of emotions and increased perceptual abilities. If crop circles are messages from aliens, what does it mean? What are they trying to communicate? Who is the intended message receivers? Could these bizarre patterns in the fields be some connection to our place in the cosmos?
Hey. Just maybe. So we're going to do a second half here on this one. I want to do them at, 30, 31, 32 minutes. Then we come back and do the other half. And then I can upload it to TikTok and stuff for the ones that only handle the 30-minute slots. They can't handle hours like YouTube. But anyway, I thank you all for sitting back and watching this. I got the other half coming up. I'm going to go ahead and do that right away. But peace, love, and light. Let's come back and sit tight. And we'll continue this on here. All right. So just hold on and you'll see the next part coming up soon. Thank you. Peace.
Blast wide open woke sessions. Mind, body, soul, no second guessing. Spilling truths, no sugarcoat dressing. Wisdom hunting, cash and knowledge blessing. Hands to the streets, wide open the road. Eyes on the prize, ain't no time for jokes, lies and eyes. These chains we roll, truth on the mic, destiny and vote. Hands to the streets, wide open.